ask for more. That is what you do when you discover more of your worth and value because that's what you were born with. But we must move through this process in our lives as we live to uncover what that is. And so as we do that, we start to ask for more. And that could be more of anything. It could be more happiness. It could be more abundance. It could be more of a relationship that you want. Maybe you want more kids, whatever it is. Whatever your desire is, you have to ask for it. But you probably won't do that until you discover your value and your worth and you know what that is. And that's an evolutionary process that you move through, and we all move through it. We just do it differently. And our world does the same thing. And I'm saying this because I have to ask for more for myself because I want you to do the same thing because I know how valuable you are. And I know why you are in the world now. And then if you were to own your value, we would have very different experiences in our world, but also in your life because you would become the person you were meant to become. When we come into the world, we don't know what that's going to be. It's always something we have to figure out. And we also don't know how the world is going to look when we get here. And there's so many people alive now who would say, wait a minute, I didn't ask for this. The world seems like it's a little insane at this moment. And I'm saying that's the best time to be alive because now you can do more and you can ask for more because you were born with this purpose and value that will evolve as you decide to take the next step into discovering who you are. I've been doing that for a really long time. And at 73 years old, I'm going to ask for more because have my life was used to bring in something to the world that can have you live the best life that you can ever imagine. And I do know that. We have come to understand that we evolve individually through our consciousness, and that's developed in different ways. Some of us have gone, we may think that our greatest source of strength and encouragement is through our religions or whatever that might be. But when you're doing your religion or you're praying or you're doing whatever it might be, you're still using only one thing, and that's your consciousness. And then we start to understand science. And then not everyone's going to understand science. Everyone's not going to study it. But I had to because I wanted to know what was happening. And I wanted to know and understand why my life had been so quite different than many others, but also why it allowed me to bring in something that could make everyone else's life much better. And also our world, because I know that's how it works. When you look at the world and you think, well, all these humans are there. Why would they be any different than anyone else? It's because of what they've been taught and what we've begun to accept. Now, I'll tell you a story because I'm going to give you a message here because it's going to come up tomorrow. I'm saying that because it's September 4th today, but I decided to look ahead on September 5th, and I'm going to give you that message. I'm saying this because we live in consciousness always. That consciousness evolves individually and also collectively. I was able to tap into that collective consciousness so I could receive information that would tell me what was happening in our world or what could happen and what we could do to make our lives better. But that comes from all of us. And it requires change, though. And that's probably the most challenging thing ever because it was challenging for me to even tell people who I was. And that's what's gone on for you. That's the only difficulty we have because we're meant to be unique beings when we come into the world, but we've been taught something else. And then the world will move through a period where it seems like all of this chaos and conflict is happening. That's purposeful because we're trying to become more. And we can only do that when you ask for more, because that's an energetic shift that you make in your consciousness that will create very different results. We could go into studying the sciences, quantum physics or mechanics or whatever you think of, because there's more that's being discovered. And I am going to study more of it because I need to understand how I could do this. I need to understand how I could traverse time and go back decades and receive information. Even though I was told that I could do that, it was still challenging to accept it. And so it was challenging for you to accept what you could do because, see, it's unending. It's unlimited. You could do so much if you decided that you were going to take the next step in your life and discover that consciousness that exists within you and create something wonderful and bring it to the world and bring it to your life. Now, I'm going to say this too, because there's no single person who is exempt from this process. You may have had a very different life experience as I did, because I went through all kinds of terrible things as well. But what it's done now is it's allowed me to create a wonderful invention, let's call it, that I can now bring to the world. And then you're going to take that information that I will give to you and you'll make it become more, and you will evolve, and you'll leave this great invention, this great idea, something to the world, because you're supposed to do that. We're all meant to do that. We just don't always do it. That's all. And then we're at a place where we're understanding the sciences of everything, and we know that everyone's not going to change, but we keep wanting them to do that because we're not willing to change. And that's what I was doing as well. Because see, I had to, how can I explain how I did this? That I came in and did something new that hadn't existed before. You're supposed to do that as well. And it's involved, it concludes everything that has happened in your life. There's one message that I was given by Wilhelm that was meant to be used during this time, and it was called Your Story, meaning that every single soul born has a story that is valuable. That story is also your history. It's everything you came in with. It's everything that you've learned and developed. But then you're meant to move over it. You're meant to do more. That's why we're born. We're each meant to do more in this world. But accepting that sometimes can be challenging. This is why we have fear. I wrote a book on fear because I had so much of it, but I began to understand that that is the thing that holds us all back. And I've held back as well because attempting to get everyone to understand, wait a minute, you can really do all of these things. And then you will look at me and you say, no, that's not possible. See, because I did that too. I thought, no, this isn't possible. But that's because when you develop something new like I have, it's really challenging because I had to come to believe it first and then to get other people to do that. But see, the thing that happens is you begin to heal, which is what we want in our lives and we also want in our world. And when I'm talking about healing, that is the information that came to me that said, all we have to do is come together within ourselves, and then that starts to show up in the world. We have different things that we were born with, different ideologies, different ethnicities and genders. We have all that stuff, but ultimately we're a soul, we're a human, and every human is meant to live a glorious life. But that can only happen when they take the evolutionary step of asking for more. I'm going to read this message to you because you'll get a lot of value out of it. And it came through last year, but it includes a few others, but you'll see what I mean. There's an alignment in the universe that we all have. We just don't always pay attention to it, but it is there. And we probably won't always believe it either. And I didn't because it was really surprising to me. Okay, so last year, ask for more. That is a shift you make in your consciousness. We provided a message on this date several years ago when your planet was moving through portions of the restructuring you are having now. Asking for more also means that you stop denying who you are and become willing to accept. That action will cause the most incredible evolution in your life and planet. Now we're going back to September 5th, 2008. I didn't know why I was led back there, but this is again another energetic shift that happened in our world, planetary shift. And you might remember certain things that were happening in that year. They were not accidental. They were just things that were awakening our consciousness. And many people, I lost a lot of money. We all had the Great Recession or whatever you might want to call it. And I lost everything as well. And I had to start over again. And that was why I wrote something that came through, says you were born again in 2009. You might find that on my site. But anyway, okay, you never intended to fight or struggle for anything you desired to create in your life experience. Before you came forth in physical form, you knew this information. However, you learned limitations in living your physical life. If you ever need to do, all you ever need to do is decide what you desire to create. Do just that and surrender the results. Surrender for you means that you know the most beneficial, the most joyful way of manifesting your desires is handled by the universe. Always ask for more, for that is what you truly intended. Your limited experience and perception would have you desire for settle for less. Simply know that your birthright is to expand and evolve, and that is always provided. Now, that message that came through in 2008, I didn't know what that meant. I'm receiving it, and it seemed to make good sense, but I didn't know it then. I do know it today. That's what you will do as well. We evolve in consciousness, then we have to accept it, then it shows up, then we can use it to do something. And we're all meant to do something now. That's why the world is moving through what my Wilhelm has called a restructuring, so that we can become the people we're meant to become and we can create the world that we all want to see. That's everyone. And the only thing that happens is that sometimes we will leave ourselves out. I did that. You focus on everything else out there and then you forget about yourself. Well, I'm no longer doing that because I know that you have something really brilliant to bring to the world, and I have something to give you that would help that happen. And I'm going to finish that like I want you to finish what you came to do. We're all in this together, you've heard, and that's absolutely true. But we have to become willing to take that step into who we're meant to be and then give that to others. And that's what I am doing now. When you come to the realization, and it's easier for me now, I'm 73. So I'm not going to live forever. So it might make more sense for me to get done what I was given to do while I'm in this physical form and give it to others, because I know that everyone is meant to do that. The most challenging thing that came into my awareness was when I shifted to another dimension of understanding and I could see everyone's brilliance. I could see everyone's challenge as well. That was really hard because I can see the only thing that people are doing is holding themselves back because they're not willing to take the next step to uncover the limitations that have been implanted within them. And I know all of these because I live them all. That's why I'm saying that. And so I never want others to judge yourself of where you are, what you haven't done, because you still have time and you can do it now. And again, age never matters. It's only your consciousness and you becoming willing to really have everything in your life. And that is always comes when you decide to ask for more. And so check out my work. Please subscribe to this channel if it's your first time here. But just know that if you decide to join my program, your life will be changed. You will understand everything about yourself. You will just do wonderful things. You're going to create something great and you're going to give that back to others. And you're going to leave a legacy to the world that said your life mattered. That's what will happen. See you soon.